Hi guys, Make Money here again. How you all doing? I'm super excited to be doing this again. Thanks everyone for 3,000 views. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the smallest and the oldest vessel I've ever worked on. Let's go. Now, starting from my first job as an officer, I've worked basically on tankers. All my previous videos were shot on tankers. Tankers are basically vessels with large tankers used for transporting liquid in bulk quantities from one position or one location to the other. Usually petroleum products, gasoline, gas oil, diesel, kerosene, and all that. But from last year, I got the opportunity to work on a different type of vessel, and not just differences in the types of vessel, but also in the area of operations and in the type of operations. These types of vessels, or this type of vessel, is known as a utility vessel or an offshore supply vessel. I'm going to come back to what an offshore supply vessel means. For now, I'm going to show you how small and how old this vessel really is. The last vessel I worked on, it had a length of 175 meters, and the gross tonnage was 25,000 in excess, and then the age was built in 2003, and this year it clocks 20 years old. Now, this present vessel has a length of 69 meters. That is less than half of my previous tanker vessel, and the gross tonnage 2,169 as compared to excess of 25,000. 2,169 gross tonnage. And then the age, it was built in 1983. So this year makes it 40 years old. This vessel is 40 years old. 40 years old, baby. It's pretty small and a pretty old vessel. Now, one interesting thing about this vessel is that it was designed in Norway. It was built in Norway. So when I think of this vessel, I think of an old, stunted, bearded, bulky Viking. Yeah. Now I'm going to give you a brief tour of the vessel. So let's go.
Find you. I'm used to waiting. Are you? Would you be waiting there too?
So basically, this is the bridge, and the bridge is quite small. Now, I forgot to tell you, it's just 70 meters wide, and the bridge is actually less than 13 meters in length. So this is all the bridges. If I go from one end to the other end, that's all the bridges. And you can see the equipment are quite old, they are ancient, but my baby performs. It does well. Like you, this guy is a Norwegian built vessel. So it's really small and it's really cozy. Nothing much, just it's so small that it doesn't even have a bathroom, a toilet on the bridge. And so yeah, this is the bridge. That is the bridge. Now let's go. Let me take you outside and show you what it looks like outside. This is from the bridge wings. You can see that's the deck area. That's all it is. Nothing more to it. That's all it is. Let me take you to the forward part. Yeah, that's all the bow that is. And this is also the bow from the starboard side. That's all there is to the deck. So in the maritime industry, there's an aspect called offshore exploration and production. Basically, where you have your oil rigs, your oil platforms, where oil is explored and extracted from the ocean on the seabed and all that. And there's a lot of process that goes into this. So offshore supply vessels, they are usually support vessels. They support these offshore installations, because these offshore installations, they are huge and they are installed in those positions. Even the ones that are mobile, that can move from position to position, it's usually like a lot of work to move them from one position to another position. And then installing it at the point where you want to carry out oil production and exploration takes a lot of process. So most companies would prefer to just keep their oil rigs and oil platforms in a position and use the offshore supply vessels to do most of the other support jobs. So now that's where we come in. Okay, now we, as an offshore supply vessel, we are there to provide the support services required for this process of exploration and production. Like you've seen, this vessel doesn't carry so much cargo, so its major job is not to transport cargo. It does that, but its major job is not to transport cargo from one area to another. So these offshore installations, there are people working on them, and sometimes they stay there for a month, 2 months. They need water, they need fuel, they need food, they need supplies, basically things that are consumed. They need to regularly change the personnel that is on the rigs. So we provide those support services. There are boats whose jobs is to help in the process of installing this infrastructure in those positions to carry out their jobs. And the other boats that supply materials and they supply equipment, yes. So they can transport equipment from the rig to maybe another rig, or to the shore, or from the shore to the rig. You get it? So we don't carry like so much, unlike the tankers that carry cargo in bulk quantity. We don't carry cargo in bulk quantity. We carry this cargo to support those operations that happen offshore. Sometimes maybe you require a lot of personnel on board a platform or on board an offshore installation, and you don't have sufficient accommodation to accommodate all of that personnel on the platform. So you can get some of these offshore supply vessels to be like an accommodation vessel. Some of the personnel on that rig will be working on board the vessel to use it as an accommodation vessel. Other jobs we do include survey. Like this particular vessel has the infrastructure needed for a survey job. So you want to know what's at the seabed, you want to carry out a survey, you want to do an underwater operation, we can assist, we can support, and we can effect these survey operations. Now I'm going to take you into the accommodation. Let's go. From the bridge, we access the accommodation area from here. It goes down. It's a tiny space. Like every inch was maximized. This is one deck, so narrow, and that's all on this deck. And then yeah, that's all deck, like a complete view of how the deck looks. This is all on another deck. See, we have, that's all it is. And you have cabins here and cabins here, and that's all the deck is. So it's a very, very tiny vessel. So now I'll take you to, we have 2 more decks to go. I'll take you to one of them. Okay. So this is the main deck. Just come into the vessel. So this, the main entrance, come here. This is the vessel's small, it's a TV room, and this is the mess room. So we have our meals, and you see they're trying to maximize every space. And this is the galley, so we prepare our meals. Okay. Over here you have it's a 7-man cabin, so 7 persons can stay in there. It has a lot of beds and all that for accommodation purposes, for extra accommodations. And this is our laundry room. Yeah. And then this is the access way outside the vessel. Okay, so this is the main deck. This is the main deck. So I'm going to walk all the way to the back so that I can give you a view of how it looks from the back. And so this is the stern. We call this the stern of the vessel. The stern of the vessel. And then that's the vessel, and that's how it looks from the deck. So you can also stand on this platform. This part gives you, sometimes we use this for maybe for some jobs, maybe to retrieve objects, to monitor an operation, maybe the operation, the gear is stationed at aft. You can stand on this platform and do all that. So I'm going to now go down and show you the last deck. After that deck, below that's the engine room. I won't be taking you into the engine room. Okay, let's go in. So the last deck comes from here. Go down here. And then this is the lower deck. And here you have a lot of cabins. You have 4 cabins on those sides, on this side, and also on this side. And then this is the ACR. And this basically is this deck. The last part of this will be to show you my cabin, at least give you a feel of how tiny the cabins are. So I'm going to take you over now to see what my cabin looks like. And this here is my cabin. So let's go. This is my cabin. I had to do like a wide view to give you a better view of the cabin. So it's a very cozy place. It's very narrow. And that's your bed space where I sleep. And I have some cupboards down here. Yeah. So that's all the cabin. That's all there is to the cabin. A small table to study. A mini sofa to sit down and for someone else to sit down. Small wardrobe here for clothes. This opens up. Then there's a wardrobe for clothes there. My bathroom. It's also a very, anyway, all ship bedrooms are very small. Just meant for one person. Yeah. And of course, all ship cabins have a porthole so that we can get a good daylight view. You can get a feel of the sun and all that. But if you don't want the sun, and of course during sailing, we shut this, close the blinds. So let's go to the bridge now and I'll wrap up this video. Just a few words before I call this a wrap. So it's a small vessel. It's not like this. It's not actually a small vessel. It's the smallest vessel I've worked on. And also, yeah, it's an old lady. She's an old lady, but trust me, she performs. She performs really well. And there are projects we've gone to that, at the start of the project, I kept asking myself, how are we going to do this? And when the guys who we were working with told us, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, we need you to do this. Basically maneuvers, place the ship in certain positions and make certain maneuvers, especially doing some of our survey jobs. You know, at the beginning I was like, we cannot do this, but man, the vessel did excellently well. And yeah, she's old, but she's a strong lady. She's a really strong lady, and yeah, don't underrate her. So thank you for watching, and now I can call it a wrap. All right, see you next time. Over and out. Bye.